Hello, Yarny friends, and welcome back to the Mama and a Manse podcast. If this is your first time trying it out, I hope that you enjoy and will subscribe down below. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back. My name is Christy, and I can be found as Mama and a Manse on Ravelry, Instagram, and Gmail. You can go to our Ravelry group and share your yarn goals. Pattern prices will go out for that every month if you share that and are updating what you've achieved. That's also where you can find the show notes and ask any questions you have or make suggestions for the podcast, topics that you want to hear about or anything like that. My co-host today is my husband.
Hi.
Whose name is?
I'm Michael. I'm Christy's husband.
I already said that part. Okay, so it is nap time, and we're trying to fit this in before the big kids have to be picked up from school. So let's go. The first thing that I finished were 3 dishcloths. These are out of Knit Picks Dishy. Our 3-year-old picked out the color, so they are all green. This was all one skein. I did mention last week that some of the stuff that I was using for the stole from Knit Picks, some of the yarn, the skeins were light. This skein was also light by like 2 grams, but I did get 3 out of that. And I'm using the Grandma's dishcloth. It's not the favorite one that everybody mentions, and I did the version without holes that Yarn Hoarder is doing for her dishcloth challenge.
Those ends look like they were woven in perfectly.
My husband has become my end weaver inner. So the next thing that he wove in were all of the ends on my blanket squares. So this is a new one that I finished this week. These are all yarns. These are all yarns that I got from the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted. I asked for minis, so these are from various people. And I also finished this one, which is in Twisted Owl yarns from the Row 1 subscription service. It was from the first month that I did that. And then these other 3 you have seen before, but they are blocked and much prettier. And the wee ends are woven in, except for the middle, which I was going to do after they were blocked. But Mike did all 50 of those and thinks he's quite special for being able to do that.
Very special.
Mm-hmm. The next finished object I have are my swirly socks. These are a pattern by Prairie Girl Susie from the Prairie Girls Knit and Spin. They are in Knit Picks Felici in the dark side colorway. I did the Eye of Partridge heel, and I went ahead and wore them before I podcasted to show them so that I could say something about the fit. I like the fit. I don't know that I like it enough more than the Fish Lips Kiss heel to spend the extra time doing the gusset and having all those extra stitches on my needles. I think Fish Lips Kiss heel is still my favorite. I think there are a couple heels I still haven't tried. I think I've heard of Sweet Tomato and maybe OMG. But otherwise, I've tried everything. And Fish Lips Kiss remains my favorite for fit. This fits really well, the Eye of Partridge, but I really hated knitting it. But I love the socks, and they're super cute. And they're comfy.
Can I have a Fish Lips Kiss?
Find a kid to give you one. Would you like to share your finished object before I finish my last one?
This is my finished object, or as you folks call it, my FO.
Why do you have to be so weird? Show him your hat.
So this is a hat that I knitted. I don't know the name of it, but it's done in a...
There's not a name. We just made it up.
It's Mike's hat, the name of it. It is done in, what kind of yarn did I do this in? Green yarn, greenish yarn.
It is the Knit Pig's Mighty Stitch, I think. It's a bulky acrylic yarn.
Yeah. And it was okay, it split really bad. That was my...
It's really pilly.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I just went to grab it out of the closet, which it's been worn a little bit, and there's probably been cats and kids messing with it, but it's really a lot pillier than it should be, like fuzzier.
It's comfortable though.
Well, I don't know how a hat couldn't be.
It was made from steel wool.
Oh, God. Okay, so, what did you think of knitting your first hat?
It was fun. It was calming. It got me out of doing housework, which was nice. Because I could say, hey, honey, I'd like to knit for a little while. And she'd be like, okay, dear, you go. You do you. You knit.
Probably not what I said. I probably said something more along the lines of, okay, then I'm knitting too.
Maybe.
And now the house is a mess. My last finished object is my Emma Jo hat. This is the hat that I was making for our eldest and designing it. So it has this kind of like a lattice stitch down here. And then the top and decreases, I have no idea if that's even going to show up on the camera, swirl around and do this cute little pattern. Yeah, you can kind of see it. This is out of Jilly yarn, which is a single Dream in Color Jilly. It's 100% superwash merino. So this is a pattern that I'm working on making. I really love the way it pooled, and I'm going to make another for our younger daughter and work on getting that pattern written, because I learned some of my number stuff that I needed to change from finishing this. That is all of my faux. So for whips, I have my stole that I'm making for somebody. And I kind of like made the goal that it would be like my Lent discipline, and I thought I would be better at like doing a Lent discipline if it was knitting. I am not. I'm the worst pastor's wife ever. I worked on this once since the last podcast. This is where I was. And then I sat down and made myself do it the other day, and I just made myself go until I ran out of that skein of yarn. But it's not blocked, so it looks pretty nappy right now. So that's still ongoing, and I'm starting to really doubt that it will be ready before Easter, which was my goal.
Maybe before I retire.
None of you keep talking. Oh, I did have another faux, but I think our son wore it to school today. So I made him a spun hat, which is this hat, only this one's in a smaller size. The pattern is by Kelly Berg. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. So this is a whip I have on the needles for Isaac. And both of them were made out of the Simply Natural by Haiku. And it is 40% baby alpaca, 40% fine merino wool, and 20% mulberry silk. And Isaiah's was done in this orangey color. They don't actually have names, they just have numbers, so I'm not sure what the number was on this one.
I think it was 4.
I'm sure it wasn't. This one is 131. Not even close. So that is one of my whips. Then I finally got to work on my long line cardigan by Joji Locatelli that will eventually hopefully look like this. I decided to participate in a sweater knit along that Lofty Loops and Hypnotic Yarn is doing. It looks a bit like underwear right now, but here it is upside down. I just last night got it joined in the round underneath the arms and used up my first skein of yarn out of 5. So I'm moving forward on that. And then my last whip are the Pisces socks. They are by Laura Beth Knits and are part of the Knit the Stars collection. I'm doing these in Knit Picks Hawthorne, and I put the tag in here and now it's gone. I think it's the Selwood colorway. I'm not a fan of this yarn. It is like 357 yards to 100 grams, and so it's significantly bigger than the other sock yarns I've been using, and it's coming out huge. I put a little bit of ribbing on the bottom of the heel, or the bottom of the foot, to kind of try to suck it in. I was thinking about just giving these to my friend whose birthday is in March, but decided not to do that because even though they're gonna be big on me, I don't think that they would be big enough to fit her size 10 or 11 foot when I started out making them for a 7.5 or 8. I think I'm going to like the finished socks. I have a problem. I'm slightly OCD, but the pattern is not centered on the front of the sock, and the cables go in the same direction. So instead of like both of them pointing out, they're both pointing to the right, and that drives me a little bit crazy. And there's like one more stitch in the border on this side than there is on this side. So I probably would have done that differently if I was writing that. It makes it really hard for me to remember the pattern because it doesn't stop and end at the same place, but I think I'll like the finished socks. They'll be a little thicker than normal, but they'll have lace on the front, so they probably won't be too hot. And I'm hoping to have these done before tomorrow because the next expat pattern comes out on the 1st for the clubs that I'm in of her Wanderlust and Cozy collection socks. So I was wanting to have these done. Our next segment will be the acquisition, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about one of the things that I bought since my last podcast. And I got some ChowGoo red lace in the size 1s. So they look like this. They are 47 inches. I found that is my favorite size for knitting socks. I enjoy doing them 2 at a time and toe up. I'm not a fan of Kitchener. And that extra 47 inches instead of 40, I really like having. And this cord, as you can see, is just completely limp. It doesn't curl around my hand or get, to where it goes like this whenever I'm knitting, and so I love it. So I bought another pair, and I bought you a pair.
Thank you, babe.
So you can think about learning to knit socks.
I'll think about it.
You have to think hard. Alright, so as far as more yarn porn and acquisitions goes, my February hedgehog fibers came in, and they are the colorways Elements and Salvatore. I'm not normally an orange person, but I absolutely love this. And it looks a little bit more red on the camera than it does in person. I don't know if holding them separately would help with that. It's more neon orangey than it looks. That looks kind of reddish orange. But I actually really love these. And it sounds like you should probably do your stash acquisitions.
Okay.
The yarn that I bought this week was not for me. This is why you should not teach your husband to knit. Because then he needs things.
I have this piece of trash. I have some Batman yarn. Is that
And
what it's
when-
called?
I think it's actually called like Undercover Superhero.
Because Batman's probably trademarked.
Yes. So this this is from Ginger Snap. She's on Etsy and Instagram. This you were gonna do a hat, right? In worsted weight.
Yes.
And then that is
Fingering weight.
for socks.
Yes. And then there's...
The mini that came with.
Yeah.
And who's gonna knit those socks?
I am.
Oh really?
Yeah.
The last time we talked about it, you hadn't decided if it was gonna be me or you.
I think it'll be me. I mean, because I'm not the knitter that I deserve. But I'm the knitter that I need.
What?
It's from a Batman movie.
Well, maybe there will be people that know what you're talking about.
I'm
You
sure
have to
there will
show
be.
your bag too.
Oh, and here's my sack.
You just made me snort. Thanks.
It's a Batman sack.
It is a project bag
Yes.
from Ginger Snap.
It's where I'll keep my balls. Yarn balls.
It has a handle, and what'd you do with the little? And there's a little notions pouch in it too. So all the Batman stuff. And now you have sock needles, so you can knit your socks.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. So,
And I'm also wearing my Batman shirt today in honor of our podcast.
I thought you were just taking your shirt off, and I was getting
Yes,
very
yes.
concerned
Yes.
about the amount of editing I was going to have to
Because
do.
my stomach is this dark.
It really is.
Really tan.
Maybe you're frostbit.
In my Batman cup.
Is it frostbit or is it frostbitten?
Bitten? Oh.
I don't know. So when I ordered the first set of needles, I also grabbed a few things off of Amazon that I'd been wanting to try out. I got some of the Knitter's Pride knit blockers. I haven't used them, but after trying to individually pin out all of the wires for the Mega Row shawl that took him and I like over an hour, thought I should try these out. Also, my house and my children eat tape measures, so I got 8 for like $9 or something like that on Amazon. And
That'll last a couple weeks.
yeah, Isaac likes to pull them out and wrap them around things. So I'm hoping that these last for a while. They are, you can tell that they're cheaper just by the way they come in and out than the ones you get from the yarn store, but he devours them. Like every time he finds one, it's destroyed. So
He doesn't literally eat them.
well,
We
but
feed our children.
he wraps them around things all the way and then pulls the like casing off of it.
Yeah, he's an awful beast.
Yes,
But we love him.
I guess. Yeah.
He's really cute.
He is cute, and it's good that he is. And the last thing I got was this little tiny scale, which probably makes me seem like a drug dealer, but it does. No.
That's what I think they do.
Um,
Is that how they do it? I think I saw that in a movie.
what are you? Oh my gosh. It does like 0.1 grams instead of just my big kitchen scale only does grams. And this is really helpful with the minis, especially because the other one, half the time, even if it's a gram, it can't really measure it.
Yeah.
Like it'll just say there's 0 there or whatever. So I did get this and it was like $9, and I really enjoyed it when I was doing my blocks this week. It was super helpful to know how much I had. I also got some T-pins because I always need more of those. Do you want to keep going or do you want to go off?
It's up to you, dear.
Okay. So, for
It's your show.
next segment, we have Culture Consumed. And I did a lot of just searching and trying to find new things this week. I figured out that you can search knitting podcasts and then filter it for like most recently updated or uploaded. And so that helped me. Are we really blurry or is it just my eyes? I think I need to take my contacts out.
I don't know. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I'm blurry.
Oh, well, that's helpful. Neither of us can see the camera.
Here. Let me put my glasses on.
Anyways, you can search for ones that are
No, you look beautiful, honey.
that have just been uploaded, and so I found a whole bunch of new podcasts. All of them are brand new to me. Some of them are not new, but most of them are not super old. So some of the ones that I know have been around for a while are Legacy Knits and Stitched in Sweden and Homespun House. All of those were ones that I tried out for the first time this week. I also tried My So-Called Handmade Life, Mean Girls Knit, Peacock Knits, Mindful Knitting. That was a couple of teenagers, so that was interesting.
Are you sure they're teenagers?
Not totally positive, but...
Because the older we get,
yeah,
the
but
more people look like teenagers.
I'm pretty sure they were talking about, like, they still live with their mom, so you would assume that they were, college or younger. And they talked about middle school like it was so long ago, but yeah, I think they were teenagers. The Happy Knitting Podcast, Knits in Pieces, Bria Knits. She's from Hawaii, and the weather here makes me really wish that we could trade places. Girl Meets Yarn, Anna Knitter, Driftless Knitting, and Yarn and You. And then Netflix, all we've been watching is Mad Men, which is not something we can watch in front of the kids, so we're not getting through it very quickly, but
It doesn't have a really good
message for the
positive
kids
image,
either.
especially the girls. Definitely a different time.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of disgusting. And then as far as life in the Manse, there's not been much going on. We had a sickness that went through everyone. I think when I podcasted last, we had about 4 kids that were sick. The other one finally fell to it, then Mike, and then me. And it seems to all be gone now. We've got a little boy turning 8 tomorrow, so they're actually off school for the next 2 days, so we'll be celebrating up for that. And you went to daddy-daughter prom on Friday.
Yes, it did. I danced
Yes.
like Fred Astaire.
Maybe I should insert some pictures, like that one that Michelle sent me of you dancing.
Pretty sure it almost looks like I'm having a coronary.
Yeah. Anyway, so also the big news is that we went over 50 subscribers this week. So I really appreciate everybody. Thanks for the slow clap there. Everybody who's given a chance and spent time hanging out with me, it really means a ton. And
I really hope I win.
well, you did not win. I actually just realized that I left the bag up on the shelf above me, and trust me, you don't want me to try to stand up and stick my butt in the camera, so...
Because she's not wearing pants.
I am actually wearing pants. Anyways, you've seen it on several podcasts.
Your butt?
It is the... No! You're so distracting. I don't know why I let you be on here with me.
Oh, the bag.
So Dawn of the Knits Best Thing Etsy store and the Codependent Knitters podcast donated a bag and needle cozy that has a United States like monument theme, and so that is part of the prize, and I'm going to be adding a few goodies of my own to that. And the giveaway winner was number 12. That's Mad Laura, who is Laura from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So if you could get in touch with me with your address, I can get that out to you. I really just wish I could visit all the places that people have introduced themselves from. I think there's just as many people from other countries as there are in the United States, which I find really interesting. Part of that's probably from the codependent knitters saying that they'd watched my podcast, because a lot of them are from Canada, but there's also Australia in there, which kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. Well, you watch a lot of podcasts from other places.
I do.
I think people like accents other than
But I don't have an accent.
ours. Well, we probably do. We probably have a Midwestern American accent.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure we do. We could start doing different accents.
I'm not good at accents.
Like, freshen your drink, Governor. We've been doing some knitting today.
And what is that?
I think it's kind of Cockney.
Okay. Anyways, so Laura, if you could get in contact with me on Ravelry or Gmail, either one of those, Mama and a Manse, that would be probably the best way. And I think that is all we have for today. It sounds like there is someone awake upstairs, and it's about time for school pickup as well.
Yeah. It was a short episode.
I feel like I kind of talked really fast. But I thought I talked really fast last week, and it was an hour and 40 minutes.
It was really long.
And I didn't even have like a topic that I went into. It was just stuff.
Yeah. You're so beautiful in your podcast, though.
Why would that make it take longer?
I don't know.
Do you think I'm sitting here and admiring myself in the camera?
I normally sit off to the side and I look at you and stare at you the whole time.
Yeah, to make me mess up.
I look at you besottedly.
That's what somebody else said.
And it was true.
I had to tell him what besotted means. He has a master's degree and he didn't know what besotted meant.
I could speak ancient Greek, but I didn't know what besotted meant. I'm
You
sorry.
can speak it?
Well, as well as anybody could.
You can speak ancient Greek.
Maybe. I mean,
No.
nobody really knows how it's
No.
pronounced because everybody's dead.
You can read it.
Well, yeah.
There's a
and
difference.
ancient Hebrew. You can read that too. It's kind of a big deal. I'm kind of a big deal.
You're not a big deal. Anyways, that's enough rambling for today. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Or I will, because this whole thing is so distracting.
I love you, honey. Hey, knitting people,
Bye.
stay classy. Have fun. Knit good. Don't you have a sign off?
Like, oh.
You had one. You had one that you were saying. Do you remember what it was?
No.
Maybe we should think of a new one right now.
Well, we can't say happy knitting because that's what everybody else says.
Yeah, we don't want to say that. Be like,
Like, it's about time. Bye.
yeah, have fun stitching, folks.
Enjoy your yarn this week, and I will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.